Alrighty guys, and welcome back. We're going to be having a look at the pig today and my recommended rank 1 updated build for the pig. Now it is a little bit similar to the builds you have seen before, however none of my killers share the exact same build. Now one of these perks is an S++ build on the pig, and I'll be explaining that to you very shortly. You will not commonly see this used as a pig. It is actually more rarer than you expect, even though I think it is personally the best build in the game. You could replace one of the perks with barbecue or thrill depending on your tracking ability. Now let's have a little bit of look from the start. Currently, yet as per usual, we're starting with Ruin here. Ruin is going to allow Survivor that lands a good skill check to have it go back 5%. If a Jenny is at 79.9 seconds, because it takes 80 to get done, it'll go back by 4 seconds. So it's not too much, but at the same time, it's enough to stall a lot of survivors that can't land great. Keep in mind, if they miss a skill check, it'll go back an additional 3% if they missed it altogether, so that does stack as well. The next perk is Pop Goes the Weasel. Pop Goes the Weasel is going to be the core of this build. I do not expect Ruin to run or last on any of my builds. It's just there for beginner stall to allow me to get through the board and to get a tiny bit of pressure throughout. Maybe one bear trap if I'm extremely lucky. Right? This is going to be what wins the game. This is going to allows me to save pressure and save the Jennies that I need to save through Pop Goes the Weasel. What does Pop Goes the Weasel do? It allows a Jenny that I kick to go back 25%. If a Jenny is at 80 seconds, it's going to go back 20 seconds and then start regression. That is a huge time to cut off a generator for one person working on it. However, remember, if there's 2 people working on it, they're going to pound through that stuff really quick. The next perk we're looking at is Discordance. Now, Discordance is one of my favorite perks of all time. A lot of killer mains turn around and say, it's not a very good perk. I have to severely disagree with them. Okay, if I have Jeff on the hook, I have David and Chase, and then Discordance activates, I know where every player is. If I have Jeff on the hook, Discordance activates, I know where every player is. If I have Jeff and Chase, Discordance activates, I know where 3 players are, at least, possibly 4. So that means that is a lot of information to be passed on to me. It's also going to allow me to know where to go to get maximum Pop Goes the Weasel value, because there'll be more targets in that direction. Depending on if I think the Jenny's nearly done, I can come in for an ambush hit as well. Let's talk about the pig's ability. While the pig is crouched, she moves at 90% movement speed. Her default movement speed is 115%. She has a 32-meter terror radius as well. Keep that in mind. While she is crouching, she has a 0-meter terror radius. She will activate a roar sound, which takes approximately 1.5 to 2 seconds to activate. When she does activate that, she'll dash at 160% movement speed for about 3 to 4 seconds. And that's without any add-ons. Keep in mind, she is very devastating when she does this, because she can mind game a lot of the jungle gyms. The correct way to outplay a pig if she's crouching to go for an ambush is just run to a different jungle gym, depending on how she does. A smart pig won't always go for an ambush. They'll crouch and stand up to try and hide their light and tweak the camera, much like a ghost face can do as well. Now this final perk I recommend on the pig is an S++ perk on the pig. On other killers, it is not an SS+ or an S++. It is an S++ on the Demogorgon, but on the pig as well. They're the only 2 killers in the game. Recently, there was a change to... A little while ago, there was a change to the pig and Legion and a lot of the other killers. On-hit effects are no longer applied by M2s. What does this mean? This means a Demogorgon Shred, a Legion's M1 through Feral Frenzy, even a pig's Crouch M1 does not apply Sloppy Butcher. And a lot of people turn around and say, that's a nerf, Goose. And I turn around and say, no, it's not. It's a change. You just need to read and understand it. What does that mean? That means M2 do not apply on-hit effect. Now, what is Save the Best for Last to do? On an M1, if you're wondering what M1 and M2 means, it's your mouse buttons, okay? On an M1, for example, a pig crouches, presses a control key. Sorry, the pig presses control to be able to, you know, crouch and use her ability. On an M1, on a pig, just a normal swing, when she hits a target, the cooldown will be increased by 5% or decreased by 5%. When she hits 8 times on targets that aren't her obsession, she will be recovering 40% quicker. That means she can M1 somebody and catch up to them while they're sprint bursting away. If somebody's coming in for a hook save, she stands up, she M1s, she M1s. She will always have 8 stacks throughout the entire board. If the obsession gets hit, it goes back 4 stacks if it's rank 1, 3 stacks if it's rank 2, and if it's rank 3, it goes back 2 stacks, right? So this might be a little complicated for you to understand. What does that mean? If you M1 Nia who's in front of you, who's your obsession, you will recover at a slower rate because you've consumed these tokens. To explain it correctly, if I have 8 stacks and then I hit Nia, I will recover as if I had 8 stacks, then I'll have 6 stacks. Much like before, if I have 5 stacks and I hit Nia, I will recover from 5 stacks even though I have 6 stacks. You will always recover from the one before. If you're at 8 and you hit, you'll obviously recover from 8, but keep in mind, the hit that applies, you recover from before the hit applied, then the apply application happens. Might be really complicated. I probably made it really hard to understand, but it's actually really, really simple. So if somebody runs in front of me who's my obsession, and I don't have any stacks to save the best for last, I will M1 them. If I have 8 stacks to save the best for last and somebody runs in front of me, I will crouch and then I'll use my dash attack on them. This here will preserve all my stacks. I will still have 8 stacks to save the best for last. It also depends on a lot of factors, right? If she runs out in front of me and I have 8 stacks and she's in the middle of the open with no pallets around, I'll M1 her, then M1 her again to put a helmet on and then take her to a hook. Shit, yes. Depending if I have Ruin up. If I don't have Ruin up, then I will do that. If I do have Ruin up, then I might take my time. Do I know where pressure is? Do I know where multiple targets are? It just depends on the kind of feel of the map. What map am I on? Am I on a corn map? Am I not on a corn map? You got to really weigh up the value of a lot of these different scenarios. It is a god tier perk on both the Demogorgon and the Pig because they can choose to preserve their stacks. No other killer can. Trapper can't unless he catches you in a bear trap. Hag can't because she has to M1 you. No one can. Doctor can't. These are all decent killers with save the best for last. However, no one can preserve a stack except for the Demogorgon with Shred and the Pig with Ambush. So if I had to look at her best add-ons, I'm going to tell you right now it's a tampered timer in the Crate of Gears. Crate of Gears here is going to mean that it's going to considerably increase how long it takes a survivor to search a jigsaw box. I could run Crate of Gears alongside an additional jigsaw box, which isn't bad, don't get me wrong. So keep in mind, this here cuts 30 seconds off a timer for a survivor's head to explode. Adding an additional box gives a survivor 30 seconds to take a helmet off. So if I ran these two here, it counters each other out. But there is an extra box for them to search, if that makes sense. So generally, I don't like running an additional box. You can double stack on boxes, I'm pretty sure, as well. But this here is just a good combo, but they're going to get an additional 30 seconds. I don't want them to have an additional 30 seconds. I'd rather have that. Now, I'm going to mention another perk here that goes hand in hand with this build. I would trade out this for it. Now, if I was playing the Pig and I wanted to be ruthless and I wanted to win, this is what I'd run. A lot of you might turn around and go, wow, Goose, why would you run Distressing on a killer these days? Okay, this final perk is an absolute game changer for the Pig. Okay, so keep in mind, this is all about how long it's going to take a Pig to search a box, okay? There are going to be additional boxes. I'm going to play a game offering here, and I'm going to trade this last one out from Save the Best to Last to, can you guess what? I'm going to give you guys a second to try and figure it out. To Infectious Fright. Now, why would I run Infectious Fright with Distressing on a Pig? She has a 32-meter heartbeat. We're increasing it by 26%. Therefore, she has about a 40-meter heartbeat. Okay? I will down a survivor, and if they are trying to search a box, which is going to take them a long period of time, Infectious Fright will make them scream. It'll reset the time on the box. That gives me one of two things. It's going to make them take longer to get the helmet off. It's also going to give me time to come up and get up there and give them an M1 and maybe another free helmet, depending on the situation. It works very good on a small map if I know I can constantly apply my heartbeat and apply my pressure. Running any more perks for this kind of play would not work well. You could get rid of Pop for Discordance if you struggled with tracking, or Barbecue or Thrill if you're going to the game. I wouldn't recommend Barbecue. However, Pop works well for me based on the fact that I don't generally need tracking perks. Infectious Fright will be classified as a tracking perk. If you really wanted, you could get rid of Distressing, but I do like the extra 8 meters. It makes a huge difference on this kind of build on the Pig. I bet you probably haven't even versed a Pig play this kind of stuff. If I was playing a Pig and I wanted to win, this is the build I would be going for. If I was playing a Pig on any map with no add-ons, the build I showed you before would be the build I would be going for. Now, Infectious Fright is an honorable mention. Don't get me wrong, it is strong. You could go make your choice if you wanted to go back to the hook, but you shouldn't be building yourself around wanting to go back around to the hook. Alternatively, you could put on Thrilling Tremor for more stall on generators, therefore longer time for the timer on the helmet, etc., or more time for you to get the helmet out. You could go Surge, you could go Surveillance. There are a lot of options, but all in all, I wouldn't recommend Corrupt Intervention on her. I would highly recommend Discordance, much like Discordance on Ghostface. You can choose which generators you want to creep up on, and there's going to be multiple targets there, so you can generally get a hit regardless of the situation. Very, very strong Pig build. Other people will be running different things like Barbecue and Chili as well, but I find this gives me the most success when I am playing at rank 1. That being said, you guys are going to be able to see I'm level 20. I just prestiged my Pig as well, so I do not have this build just yet, but I can already tell you how devastating it is through experience. It's very, very strong and hard to outplay. But guys, if you enjoyed this little bit of a Pig tutorial, don't hesitate to come over to the live streams, which happen here on Twitch 5 days a week. We do stream DVD as an educational killer main when we play Survivor as well, so we can teach you both sides of the coin. Guys, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Subscribing's free, and every subscription does help this stream or the YouTube grow. So thanks, guys. I will see you in the next video. Have a good one.